Hello there, thank you for watching my video. Now we will talk about chapter 3.1, Create and Configure Virtual Machine Settings. This is part of Configure Hyper-V by me, Astrid Krasniqi. Okay, in Create and Configure Virtual Machine Settings we will talk about server virtualization with Hyper-V. Then we'll talk about Type 2 Client Hypervisor. Then we move on to discussion to Type 1 Client Hypervisor. Hardware requirements for Hyper-V, hardware Hyper-V licensing. Then I'll do a demonstration installed in Hyper-V. Then another demonstration creating a virtual machine inside the Hyper-V. Then we talk about different virtual machine files installed in operating system, integration services. Then I'll do a demonstration installing integration services, and then optimizing Hyper-V memory usage. And I'll do a demonstration of Hyper-V memory usage. So, server virtualization with a Hyper-V. Benefits of server virtualization with Hyper-V. Well, we have many benefits, but one of the main benefits is invisible to users. Users can use a workstation, client machines, file servers, printers, and so on. All those machines will be running in Hyper-V. There will be virtual machines. The users, they will not know the difference, or they will not see the difference if it's a virtual machine or Hyper-V or virtual machine. Guest machines can use a different operating system, so you can install in one server. If you install a Hyper-V, then inside that server you can have a different guest machines, like you can have a Windows, Linux, Apple virtual machines running inside the server. More efficient use of hardware. So for example, we can have 3 or 4 different kind of services running inside one machine, one Hyper-V machine. In the before, for example, DHCP and domain controller, companies didn't want to mix them or have them running in the same server, so they will have to purchase 2 different servers, one for domain controller and one for the DHCP. Nowadays, you can run in Hyper-V 2 different virtual machines. They will behave like 2 different physical machines. Then service and application isolation. If one of the server goes down, it's not going to affect the other server. Workload consolidation. Simplifies server deployment. And then virtual machine templates. We can create one template and we can start other virtual machines from that template. We have Type 2 Client Hypervisor. Type 2 Client Hypervisor inside the hardware will install the operating system, like in this case operating system 2012 R2. It can be Windows 8.1. This is called the host operating system, and inside that operating system we install the hypervisor, and inside the hypervisor then we'll install the virtual machines, like in this case DC1, DC2, Windows 8.1, another member server. Yeah, all of those are Windows, but we can install any other operating systems as well. So this is Type 2 Client Hypervisor. You will have a hardware. In the hardware we'll install the operating system, and that's called the host operating system, and then in the host operating system we'll install Hypervisor, which will enable us to install a virtual different client operating system. A Type 2 hypervisor is a type of client hypervisor that sits on top of the operating system, requires a host operating system. Virtual machines cannot boot until the operating system is already up and running. You create a virtual machine or virtual hardware environment for each virtual machine and install the guest operating system on each virtual machine. Does not provide the same performance as separate physical computers, and is good for testing or lab environment. Type 1 Client Hypervisor, we have in hardware, we don't install the operating system, we straight in there we install the hypervisor, so we get rid of the operating system, and then in the hypervisor we'll install our virtual machines like we had before. So now those virtual machines, if they want to access any hardware, they don't need to go through the operating system to access the hardware, they just access it through hypervisor. So Type 1 hypervisor runs directly on the host hardware to control the hardware and to manage guest operating system. The guest operating system goes above the hypervisor. No host operating system is required. No host operating system is sharing the processor. So type 1 client hypervisor, we have a primary partition or parent partition, and then all other partitions for virtual machines are called child partitions. The hardware requirements for Hyper-V, we have to consider a few hardware requirements. The first thing, to run the Hyper-V, we need a 64-bit CPU and hardware assisted virtualization to be enabled, and data execution protection to be enabled. Then processing capacity. More processing capacity we have, better, because we're going to have running different virtual machines. Then we have to think about the memory, how much memory we have, because each individual virtual machines will need their own memory. And storage subsystem performance. Network throughput, typically multiple NICs. Hyper-V licensing, we have to think about the physical, they both have to be licensed, physical machines and virtual machines. As we can see there, the data center does allow you to create unlimited number of virtual machines, while the standard edition does provide you only 2 licenses for virtual machines. In this demonstration, we install the Hyper-V. Then I'll do another demonstration installing and creating a virtual machine. I will install Hyper-V on the Windows 8.1. We usually would install it on the server 2012, but in this case I want to show you, I want to demonstrate that we can install it on the Windows 8.1. What I need to do is click Start in 8.1 and then access the control panel. In the control panel I will need to enable a feature, so programs, and then turn Windows features on or off. Then there's a feature here called Hyper-V. I'll just tick that. I'll choose Hyper-V. Okay. The other one is grayed out because it's already installed. I did practice it earlier. So we need to restart this machine to actually enable Hyper-V. So I will restart. Now I'll pause the video. Once it's finished restarting, I'll come back to it.